everybody. It is Flock of Nerds here for Flock Talk, Episode 2. I'm with Catherine.
Hello.
And Chris.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about some of our gaming moments of 2016, and it should be a good time. So before we get into the turkey and gravy of the episode, we have some hot topics that we're going to cover.
Hot topics.
Chris, you played some indie games at a bar, is that right?
Yeah, so we went to a local bar that has video games all set up. Should we tell what the local bar is?
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't know the protocol for this.
Yeah, it's like Power Up Gaming Bar.
In
right?
Toronto.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit like something out of like, what's the movie I'm thinking of? You guys know.
A Clockwork
the
Orange.
movie in my head. Yes, A Clockwork Orange. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's got the blue lights. There's a naked statue woman that you can get milk out of. There's a bunch of droogies just sitting in the basement, all just staring at you as you come in. But they're near the Street Fighter V console, and they're just waiting for people to play Street Fighter V with them. No, okay, so you go in.
The maitre d' was like, "Do you video some of the PS4 or do you video Xbox One?"
Yeah. So we went down there expecting classic consoles, but it was mostly just new consoles and new games. The three of us, right? You guys were there too.
It was us.
The three of us went and we played a few games, one of which was one of my games of the year, and I've only played it over the last, say, 3 weeks, and it skyrocketed to the top. But before I tell you about that game, I want to talk about why that game is really good, because that game is really good because of the local multiplayer. It's a local multiplayer game.
And we played it on PlayStation 4, and there aren't a lot of those.
No.
Right?
So I might as well say the game is Overcooked. It is a game where everyone is playing as chefs, and you're trying to make a variety of dishes in a certain amount of time under the most grueling of conditions possible. At first, you start out and you have to make like a salad, and it's easy. And then there's 3 cars, and they're all moving, and they're all flatbed trucks, and you got to run between the cars because.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
right, like for some reason you're making hamburgers on a moving truck, and then
you got to feed the drivers.
Just the worst laid out kitchens in the entire world, and your local multiplayer, so everyone's playing together, sitting down, and I really hope that local multiplayer games make a huge comeback in 2017, because I have had enough of playing with people online. I've had enough of it. I've had enough of you people online and the garbage, just the cesspool of nonsense that playing games with people online is like.
I remember you sent me a conversation once that you had on Hearthstone.
On Hearthstone. I have that written down. I have it written down as a thing to talk about here.
Oh, yes.
I was playing Hearthstone, and I like Hearthstone. I like Hearthstone a lot. And I dislike the people that like spam the buttons, the talking buttons. There are various things that you can say in Hearthstone. You can't chat with each other, but you can hit things to, like, you can say like "good game," you can say "hurry up," something like that, along those lines.
There's no negative thing, really, right?
Yeah, but if you play Hearthstone enough, you learn that there are certain things that become negative. Like, you're on your second last turn and the person's spamming "good game." It means, like, he thinks you've got no chance.
Oh.
Right? Like, you can say hello over and over again at the beginning because the person's not playing fast enough. There's just little things you learn, and it gets under your skin.
Oh, is that what that is? Because people do that in Overwatch, too.
Yeah. No. These are people being jerks.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe not in
Maybe you're reading too much into this.
Listen,
maybe people just want to meet you, and they're saying hello. They're being nice.
Oh, yeah, they're being nice.
And they're just
saying
like,
"good game."
Man, this is the best game I've ever played. It's so good. I can only say "good game." So if I spam it like 10 times, that means amazing game.
Yeah.
See,
yeah, no, that's not what it means.
It could, though. You don't know.
It could. No, it could. These could be... I could be the jerk. It's entirely possible that I'm the jerk. Okay, well, I'm under no illusions.
Okay.
So, that particular example, though, is while I was playing Hearthstone, I just destroyed this guy. And then he gave me a friend request, and up to that point, everyone who sent me a friend request wanted to be my friend. And so I was like, yep, that's fine. He can be my friend. And then he sent me 3 messages, all of which were swear words, all of which were the worst things I had read online in a while. And then he unfriended me, and I had no chance to get back at him. And
Did you request a friend?
no, I was done with the guy. But I was like, give me a break. What is happening here? Like,
That's
why
a
am I-
lot of effort just to cuss you out.
Yeah, like,
Right?
I don't get...
Just to be a
Why-
bitter player.
I understand why people want to be mean online. It's easy. It's very easy to get out all of your aggression on people you don't know, which is why I love local multiplayer, because you have to live with the person afterwards. You're playing the game, and if they screw up, you can't like get up and scream at them and throw things. Even
just-
though like you
Or
feel
just
really
call them the worst things ever.
Oh, yeah,
you've ever-
no, you can't. You have to remember that you live in a civil and polite society. So you can't just scream at someone for screwing up. And in Overcooked, there's a whole bunch of opportunity to be very frustrated. Be very frustrated
yes.
with, like...
We played with
your-
you, so we know.
I thought it was so much fun when you were pretending to be head chef.
Hey, we need a hamburger.
Why are you bringing me this meat? This meat is not cut. I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot.
What is this meat? Go back! Get him!
Part of the
Or
problem
when
is
we
that
were sending you dirty plates.
Miles and I we're really bad at the game, so that didn't help either. So.
It
But
was our
it-
first time playing it, so it's okay that everyone was bad.
I also love it as a drinking game because it's so chaotic and fun, and people are
Yeah.
screaming.
Halfway through, you
Yeah.
stop caring about
There was,
getting the
there was
plates
that
done
one,
and stuff.
Yeah, there was that one part where we realized we weren't going to pass it, and so we just started joking around with the game. Like we were throwing dirty plates on the floor.
Oh yeah, I'll just leave this here, and you can just put a full tomato on the ground.
Yeah.
So-
No, but the best part about that game is how ridiculous it can become. Like you, for efficiency's sake, will go grab a tomato and just throw it on the floor. You're like, here's
Someone
the
else will grab
tomato.
it.
Pick it up off the floor. I've got no time to run it to you.
Sometimes a rat will grab it though if you do.
Get the rat. It's got our cut up lettuce.
Yeah.
And we have to feed it to everyone.
I find it's like a really good couple game, like not for gender reasons. It's just a really good game if you're just sitting there together going, what should we do? Toss on the game. You can play it for just like half an hour or something like that. And it's a ton
Yeah.
of fun when you do. And like, it's like very cute and everything. So you don't, like, even if you're like frustrated, like, you gave me the wrong thing. It doesn't cause those big like blow ups or anything like that. We're all still friends afterwards. It's just a light, fun game that's really challenging actually too. Like there's a lot of it gets really difficult.
No, and it's easy because each level has 3 stars that you can get, and it's easy to get 1 star. But to access later levels, you've got to go back and get 3 stars in all of the earlier levels, and that's where the game like just becomes hard. You play the same level 10 times. You're both like in the zone at one point, and when you finally get it, you're like, this stupid game is great. This stupid little game, we got like everything down. You're running plays. You realize what your best opening is. You start doing like the super efficient openings, the middle.
Do you find like
It's great.
when you play, because you play with your wife, when you play,
Yeah.
is there a certain point where like you both are so in the zone that you don't speak for like, or are you always communicating? Because sometimes
Yeah,
Miles and
so-
I'll just be like, we know kind of what our roles are and what we need to do, and so then for like 2-3 straight minutes we're just like silent because we're
Yeah.
running around and focused.
I have found that there's always going to be some point in the game that you're talking to each other, which is great because you like local multiplayer games, and you're talking to each other about how you have to play the game.
Yeah.
There's not only the interaction on the screen, but there's also the interaction in the room. Like, I need a lettuce. Can you bring me a lettuce? And so the person like has to go and do that, but you're communicating. But when you're in the zone, when you've played the level like 10 times and you're trying to get the 3rd star, there can be that, like, I am in the zone here. We are both operating on, like, full cylinder.
It's like hive
full steam
mind.
ahead. Yeah. Everything is cooking. We're cooking with gas. The burritos, though, that's super hard.
I don't think
The
we've gotten to burritos yet.
Burritos are unreasonable. Pizzas are pretty unreasonable. Like, we've got hamburgers down, but burritos. There's also free DLC. The holiday stuff is all free DLC.
We haven't played any of it. Have you played
Which
all
is
that stuff?
No, we just got the free DLC, and my wife won't let me play the free DLC until we beat the last level
Yeah.
of the game.
I like her style.
The last level of the game is such a beast, though. Like, up to that point, you're playing, like, 3-minute games, but the last level is long and complicated, and you have to learn all the various things that are happening. It's a beast.
I just wanted to mention the developers. It's this little... Oh, I'm reading now. It's a 2-man independent developer based in Cambridge, UK, and they're called Ghost Town Games. So I feel like...
Sure.
I love
Buy
this
their
game,
game,
and I want to credit the people. I want them to make more games. I want them all to be as good as this. Like
All co-op multiplayer
all
games.
multiplayer.
Because they feel like they understand. It feels like they
get
understand
it.
it.
It feels like maybe there was a gap in their gameplay, and they were like, "We need to fill this gap."
Yeah. There is... You can... So, when you're driving around your car in the middle of the... There's a level selection map, and you can drive around your little car, but the music that's happening makes me think that the people, like, that you're driving around through time, going to various things, and you feel like this kind of sadness of life. Do you guys feel that? That the music is evoking this, like, I have to grind away at this to become so good.
Except
and
for
that's
when we
a bit
play
sad.
with you, and you sing yakety sax when we drive around, so it's less sad.
Yakety yak, don't come back.
No, you were singing the Benny Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. And that made the driving seem really fun. Anyway, I guess we should go on to another hot topic.
So, speaking of multiplayer games, I've been playing some single-player games that require no interaction at all with other people.
That's good.
The first of which was Walking Dead, the Telltale game, Season 1, which was amazing. It's a great game.
Tell us about it. Tell
Why
me about
not?
it, because I've never played.
It's an evolution of the point-and-click that deals more with dialogue choices
And
Yeah.
consequence of action.
and consequence of actions. So it's based in the Walking Dead universe. Glenn and Herschel are in the game, but just a tiny bit, just to be like, hey, look, it's part of the Walking Dead
Yeah, it's
universe.
Glenn, look.
Yeah. So other than that, you play as a guy named Lee, who's on his way to jail when everything starts to go down. And so the whole time when you're talking to people, it forces you to lie in certain situations. You can't always just tell the truth because you know you could be like, well, I was on my way to jail. Now nobody's going to trust me. Right? And you have to take care of this girl who you find. And so everybody is like, you know, are you this girl's father? And you're like, well, no. And then they ask more questions about you and you're like, I got to start to lie. It is better than The Walking Dead show. Like, if this story was on TV, the show would be way better. Because they did something with the universe that is exceptional, and I feel like the Walking Dead show is just kind of monotonous and going on and on and on.
And it just walks towards its death slowly,
Yes,
kind of shambling slowly towards its own death.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the show, and
Yeah.
the game was fantastic. It has an amazing ending. The characters are funny. The humor's spot on, and your decisions are cool. Like multiple times you get to choose. You have two characters, and it's like you can choose one of them to live, and they'll be in the next episode, and the other one won't be.
Do you feel like your decisions have an impact on the story?
Absolutely.
Like an actual impact?
Yeah, it feels that way even if it isn't the case.
A lot of times you're choosing someone who has another loved one in your group, right? So if you don't choose that person, you still have to live with their surviving family member, right? You still have to continue the game with them and then deal with the ramifications of your decision with that person, right? So they're going to be angry with you, or they'll understand your choice. Like it depends, right? So it has a lot of effect on the story itself.
And what system have you been playing it on? PS4?
Yeah, PS4, and I even played it the DLC with it.
Oh, good. Cool.
The 400 days. So I consider that my first long game finished.
Nice.
For the 30 games.
1 of 30?
Yeah, one of 30. And I'm almost finished my second game, which is Mad Max, another long one. It is my first, like, I say 15, 20 hours with the game were very enjoyable. And in fact, I was like, this is probably one of my top 100 games of all time. Walking Dead, by the way, would be, as well as Overcooked. Both would be on my top 100 games of all time.
Sure.
But Mad Max, I was like, oh man, 3 in a row that are amazing. And I played this game for like 15, 20 hours. And then after a while, I was just like, man, this is just a bunch of fetch quests at this point. And they're just like trying to extend my time playing it for no reason. It's like, come on, let's kind of get on with the story.
Yeah, because I feel like, well, maybe you're not finding the streamlined, like, quest lines, right? Because I find, like we were talking about this last time on, like, Fallout 4, you can get through that game really quickly if you just do the quests that lead you further into the game. But it's kind of hard in Mad Max to do that because you're getting attacked and stuff like that along the way, and there's all these like little things that will make your game easier if you do them, right? So kind of like leveling up and stuff like that, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it is kind of an action adventure RPG, and it has a fighting style that's like the Batman games from Rockstar. So it's like a flow combat, and then it has also a driving style that's similar to GTA, where you can steal cars and like drive around, and the driving is a lot of fun. But it's like an RPG because you're constantly upgrading your car. They call it the Magnum Opus.
Oh yeah,
and you have this like mechanic with you constantly. He's like this hunchback mechanic, and he's like, "Oh, we must upgrade the Magnum Opus." And so it's like it's a lot of fun interacting with that guy. He also runs the harpoon from the back of your car, so you could pull like wheels off cars, or you could tear down scarecrows, which are like like they have. It's gory too. It's grotesque. Like they have scarecrows which are like humans strung up. Representing, you know, the evil warlords, and you have to tear them down so that the areas become safer.
Does it have like an interesting story? Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Like I think it's just as good as like a story in another Mad Max movie or something. Yeah. Like you're like this badass, Max.
Sure, obviously,
and he's not happy.
Yeah. Can you imagine playing the game as just some schlub in that world? Like, rando dirt farmer?
Oh, shucks, I found a rat to eat. What a great day.
There goes some cars.
I watch you play a lot of it because I like to watch video game play.
We have one TV.
We only have one TV. But I don't mind it because I'm a spectator. I'm a video game spectator. It's a sport to me. But I struggle to see what his actual objective is. Like, what is his motivation? I know the motivation. I think at the very beginning, it's like, I need to get to, like, what is it, Gastown or some place, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that place is. I missed some of the early stuff, but thinking of the film, like, you very much knew the motivation of Mad Max in that film. But this one, like, after a while, you're like, oh, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. Are you working towards your goal? Like, I mean, is this going to get you to Gastown? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. They sidetrack you a lot in this game, like right off, like starting from the beginning of the game. The game has an amazing cinematic in the beginning where you are fighting this main warlord that you're aiming to kill or whatever.
Right.
And you chainsaw him in the head while you're driving. And he's like still alive with the chainsaw on his head, and you're like, yeah! But then they take your car and they dismantle it and they destroy it, and so you meet this mechanic who is like, I'm going to build you a new car. So the real purpose of the game feels like I'm just supposed to be building this car, even though the objective ultimately is to go and kill that one warlord.
Right, but it's mostly a Fast and Furious game. You live for your car.
But it also has like another element to it where I'm trying to make the place safer. Because he's basically like the Punisher, right? Like he's just punishing, this evil. So you're working with like people who run different sections of the world. Yeah. So each one has their own warlord, like a small-time warlord. And they have their own territory, and you're trying to free each of them. And the characters that they have in this game are really interesting. Like, there's one guy who is in constant pain because of shrapnel in him, and so he keeps diverting the pain by, I don't know, doing other things. There's a guy who's like a pirate called Gut Gash. There is a woman in a wheelchair named Pink Eye. There is a recent character that we just discovered who's like a preacher who is just he looks like Freddy Krueger. He's like completely melted, burned.
And he's like a cult leader.
And he's like, yeah.
Like
and
they're
he's
all
like,
praying
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah, in his area, everyone like is praying. Yeah. And like, even though it's a desert wasteland, they do a good job of making different areas look different. Like, there's one area that actually has water, but it's all, like, green and, like, it looks, like, mutated and, like, poisonous.
Yeah.
There's another area that has just thick black sludge. So when you get your car stuck in the sludge, it's, like, really hard to, like, drive it out. It's an interesting game, and I do like it. But it has some glitches as well. Like, at one point, a random tornado picked me up and got my leg stuck in a wall, and I couldn't get out. Once I entered a dungeon, they have like dungeons or bases. Once I entered that, without destroying one of the things outside that launches bombs at me, and I got inside the dungeon, and it launched a bomb from outside into the dungeon, and it blew up the objective that I was trying to blow up.
Oh, really?
So I walked in the dungeon, and it said 100% complete.
Oh, that's ridiculous. And we're 7-8 months out from release.
Oh, yeah, like a year.
No
more than a
excuse for
year,
that.
I think.
Is it a year?
Yeah?
I think it's been more than a year, yeah.
Like, there's no excuse for that kind of glitch to be in this game. Now, to be fair, I don't know that so many people bought the game that they're dying
yeah,
to
that's
catch
what I
it
was
up,
thinking,
right?
too. Because, like, the first half of the game, there's, like, almost no glitches. But
Right.
then when you get into the second half of the game, it feels like they just lost steam and they're like, nobody's going to get this far.
No one's gonna
all
like
these
this
weird
enough.
things start happening. But overall, I still like the game. I'm almost finished it, so I think I'm going to... I mean, I'll be done this weekend.
Like, at a certain point in the desert, you find a arcade console, and you go up to the arcade console, and it's like, this is the end of the game. You're going to play the beginning of the game all over again.
So you can remember how good it used to be.
Yeah, look how good our game is.
You should be a game designer, Chris. Amazing.
That would be great, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm doing right now. But Catherine, you are looking forward to something that's
Oh,
coming
I'm
up.
preparing. My hot topic is hot. It's timely because in January, it's the second week of January. I have the dates here. January 8th to January 15th, I think. The Awesome Games Done Quick happens. And it's something that I look forward to every year. They do also a Summer Games Done Quick. But the website is just Games Done Quick. And it's like a charity event. It's a marathon charity event where various speedrunners kind of submit their runs and like to participate in this 7-day 24 hours a day, nonstop live stream. It's hosted by Twitch, and then like different places host the stream on their channels or whatever. And it's all for charity. They've raised millions and millions of dollars for various charities. This time, it's going to be for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And
Quality Foundation.
yeah, in the past they've done. I think maybe in the summer they do Doctors Without Borders, but I don't know if it's like set like every summer, every winter kind of thing. But I love watching it. It's so great. They do kind of like you've watched a bit of it too, right? You guys have both.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love seeing those games get beat so easily, and then I get really jealous.
Where do you watch it? Like,
It's
which
on-
service?
It's on Twitch, but
It's
I
on
think
now YouTube too,
I think
right?
YouTube may stream it. I don't know if they live stream it, but they like Games Done Quick is their YouTube channel, and they'll also like post blocks, like they'll all the blocks at a different time, or they'll even sometimes break it down by games. But if I miss something, I'll go back and watch it because sometimes it's like 3 a.m. or something like that. But it's super, super fun. I think it's such a good cause.
So, Catherine,
Yes.
if you had to explain
Uh-oh.
speed gaming to a gruff war veteran,
This war no.
how would you explain it? And here we go. Oh, hey, Catherine.
Oh no.
I've seen a lot of stuff. What's this speed gaming, Catherine?
It's for charity. So
Lots of things are for charity.
I don't. Okay, so it's a group of video gamers who have dedicated part of their lives to. Oh, this is not going to go well with the war vet. They've spent their time playing video games. You know.
Yeah. Video games. We play a lot of games too.
Miles, you got to help me out with this because I don't know if I can get through to this guy.
All right, I'll do my best. What's she talking about? Video games?
No. You guys are all Soldier 76s,
We're both two
huh?
gruff war veterans.
Look, it's a really good way to bring together this like global community with a shared interest, and
But the actual thing of speed gaming,
yeah.
like, what is speed gaming? 'Cause
So I guess like I mean
come to it and I don't
I'm
necessarily. I watch them and I go, "What's happening here?"
I'm not
So-
like an expert in this or anything like that, but for different games, like they each have their own sort of like category. So sometimes it'll be like, say for a Mario game, it'll be 100% where you have to do every single world, no warping and stuff like that. There'll be and you can't exploit glitches because in a lot of those retro games they do those like pixel perfect jumps that glitch out the game and stuff like that. And then there's some that is just straight as fast as you can get to what they've determined to be the end time of the game, right? So, and sometimes it'll be as soon as the final cutscene starts, and that's when the time will stop. There's like super fun ones in Mario games where they glitch out the game and then it'll just pop you to the credit screen, and then so you finish the entire game in a minute and 30 seconds or something. Then there are they'll do it with like Fallout 3, they'll play the entire game in 20 minutes, right? Because they find ways to like
going through
glitch their way, just kind of
world.
jump to the next area without having to fight your way, stuff like that.
You know, that's what's wrong with millennials.
They're always in a
trying
rush.
trying to jump the queue.
You know, in my day, we didn't have the fancy schmancy IGN cheat codes.
No one ever gave me something for nothing.
I didn't have GameFAQ walkthroughs. I pulled it myself up by my bootstraps, and I played Super Mario Brothers like it's supposed to be played.
You have never played Super Mario Brothers, Miles, the way it's supposed to be played.
That's true.
He doesn't even know. Like when
I haven't seen another stage that I'm.
Yeah, I think
outside
when
of the
I was
works.
playing it, I played level 2 or 3 or something like that. World 2. And Miles was like, I've never seen this
What's
before.
this swimmy level?
What is this?
What's this game you're playing? It kind of looks like this other game I played.
But like, I mean, I talked a bit about this in our Mega Man 2 video because one of my favorite runners, and I think it was like a friend of Miles's who was like, "Oh, if you like this, you should watch Duck Fist." And then I did, and I was like, "Yes, I like Duck Fist." He's just like he's really knowledgeable. They almost all are, right? Like they all are just, and they can talk about the game itself, and it's just like if you love watching video games. Or if you love a particular video game, watching these speedrunners play that game changes it for you. And they also give you a lot of like information, especially like 100% runs. Because if you're the type of person who likes to take their time through a game, a speedrunner doing a 100% run shows you a lot about that game that you may have missed, right? Or if you're stuck on something somewhere, you know, it shows you, oh, that's how I get past that part, right? But
So there's a couple things I want to talk about
Sure.
this Awesome Games Done Quick. First of all, it's not just speedruns. They also do kind of fun other things as well during their charity stream. Like they played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out with blindfolds. And
Okay.
they did a race because so much of that game is based on sound cues.
Yeah.
So you can dodge and everything at the right times, which was just amazing to see two blindfolded people race
Yeah.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Like, that's really cool. I can't beat Mike Tyson, and it's really cool to watch that. Or the Tetris Championships.
yeah, I was
How
going to bring that up. Chris has seen that too. The Grandmaster Tetris stuff.
Yeah.
It's if
They
you
made me do some blindfolded things that I don't want to remember.
stop.
You ever see The Deer Hunter?
Oh no.
I really like the commentary because I watch it and the commentary lets me into the world that I otherwise have no access to.
Like they're playing
'Cause
these
they'll be
games in a
like-
way that you never would play them, right?
Right. The guy goes like, this is the really hard part. Here it comes. This is the hardest part in the game. And you just see some guy jump and he glitches and then he gets up into another thing. And you're like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Like, this is not intuitively understandable as a hard thing.
Oh,
it's
and
nice
the best
to
is
have...
like, they have the couch commentators too. So they'll have like, say, I watched the Duckfist one and he's playing the game, but they'll have like 3 other Mega Man 2 runners behind him all also commentating. So when they're like, sometimes they'll be like, oh, there's a really tough one coming up. And then he'll do something, you're right, that looks very simple, like, oh, he made a jump. And everyone on the couch is like clapping because you're like, oh, that's amazing. And then they'll be like, oh, you don't understand how hard that is. I'm like, I really don't, because it just looks like he jumped, but he has to jump at the very specific frame, at a very specific like location and stuff like that. But the Grandmaster stuff, like, it was super fun to watch just because like there are all these, I think mostly North American guys that were playing when we saw it, and they're not even the best. Like at that time there were no North American Grandmaster Tetris players. They were all in Japan. And so we're like, these guys aren't even the best, and they're playing it at at this phenomenal speed that you can't even, like, if you think you're good at Tetris, you are not good at Tetris.
Just go to YouTube. You can find all the old videos of it. Just Grandmaster Tetris. Awesome games done quick.
And every game too also has like these incentives and stuff too, where if you donate and stuff, you get put into draws. If a certain game, like, if hits a certain amount of money raised for that game, there'll be different things. There's also things you can bid on, like if someone's going to play Final Fantasy, or you can name the character, and like they give you different options for names, and you can put your money towards different things. Then the big thing that they do every year is save or kill the animals. So your money can go to save or kill the animals in Metroid. Is it
Super Metroid, right?
Super Metroid. I don't know that game, but apparently at the end you can either save or not save the animals, and that's sort of like the big thing that goes on there.
So those are our hot topics for this month. Now on to some of our gaming moments of 2016. Chris.
Hello.
We're talking about our gaming moments from 2016.
Yes.
I asked you to have something prepared. Did you?
yeah, I prepared some stuff. I mean, I've already spoken about one of the best gaming moments of the year, which was Overcooked. With you guys, Overcooked with my wife. Overcooked in general will create some fantastic gaming moments. Though most of the year has been a giant disappointment for me for gaming. I'm going to focus on the good stuff and try not to focus too much on the negativity, because there's more than enough negativity. The video game that I liked the most this year probably was Doom. Mm-hmm. Doom is a remake, essentially, of the 90s classic Doom. And what it kind of does differently than every other shooter, because I'm burned out on shooters, I couldn't care less. Same game over and over again, just a different story. And unless the story is amazing, why am I shooting all of these guys over and over again in the same game? But in Doom, it made it more less about taking cover, less about going slowly through an environment, and more like there is speed metal and you are running and you are jumping, and like it makes the violence into art almost.
Yeah.
I feel like there are moments of that game where you're running on all cylinders and you're like, rip this demon's head off, put a chainsaw in like another guy. It's just the most frantic thing, and after 3 or 4 minutes of playing it, you haven't blinked. You're like, whoa, you're out of breath. In the later levels, it gets really frustrating, but even earlier on, they'll throw this giant demon at you, and you'll be like, early on, how am I going to beat that thing? And then 20 minutes later, you're fighting 7 of them. And but you're constantly running. It's so much action. Like, I don't even know if I can do violence anymore after Doom. Like, what's the point? Like, Doom just does violence so well that it kind of like is the apotheosis of violence.
That's so interesting that you say. I mean, I haven't played the game a lot. I played it a little bit at your place.
Yeah.
And one thing that really stuck out to me was the music. And just how the speed metal ramps up the crazier the things going on in the screen are.
Yeah.
You know, and the music. I don't think there's ever been as perfect a pairing of music to gameplay as that. As
It's
crazy as
fantastic.
that sounds.
It also, there are these things called like glory kills, which essentially let you do a short animation and refill up all your health bars and get more ammo. But speaking of the music, during those gory kills, the music slows down. Like,
Oh, no way.
yeah, if you're listening, it's not just like the music is doing its own thing in the background. The music is adaptively changing to what you're doing on the screen. So it'll be
incredible.
like crazy metal, and then you'll do the glory kill, it'll slow down, be like wah, and then it'll start again. Like
Wow, that's amazing.
it's crazy.
Wow.
It's a crazy game.
Yeah, that game is all about adrenaline too, because
Yeah.
you can't even stop running, right? Like
No,
that
if you
game-
stop running, you're dead.
Yeah, you just gotta keep moving because it's kind of like a first-person bullet hell as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
There's
I-
never not an enemy.
I think there are moments of downtime, but then when the speed metal starts, you know that you're in for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes of fun, and then there's stuff to find, and there are challenges that are actually very challenging. So yeah, no, that's in terms of a video game, that and probably something like Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which was kind of the complete opposite of Doom, which is
I've never
a
played
game where you are playing as this like half cybernetic guy, and you're going through a recreation of Prague, and you're trying to solve a bunch of mysteries and not kill people, and less
it a-
interesting as a game, but
Is it a
more
stealth
interesting
game?
as a story. Yeah, you can play it stealth, you can play it not stealth. I've always found them to be games that are much better if you play them stealth, not kill anybody, give yourself the extra challenge. The best part about that game that I really liked was that there was a bank heist, and they have like this maximum security bank, and you've got to like go through the bank security systems, turn off the cameras, do all the like it's a big bank heist, and I thought that was one of the cooler levels. Less interesting than Doom overall. I'd say Doom is probably my most interesting game of the year, the thing I had the most fun playing.
Had you been looking forward to Doom coming out, or
No. So I don't think anyone was looking forward to Doom coming out, because when the multiplayer came out, they released the multiplayer first, and people were like, what's this multiplayer stuff? I don't know about this. But the single player campaign was kind of the sleeper hit of the year.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, nobody
cool.
knew that the single player was going to be as good, I think, as
And
it was.
so good that it became like a nominee for Game of the Year and everything.
The
like
thing
that, right?
that's why you buy that game. I don't know if people are still playing the multiplayer. I don't know if people are still playing the Snap Map. They've got a thing where you can create your own levels, but some people have changed it so that like now you're playing different games in Doom.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's a few people that have created the farming simulators in
Oh.
Doom.
Now you're
The-
talking my language. There we go.
You're
And
speaking my
and that's
language.
the world you wanted to play a farming simulator.
The Cacodemon.
You guys make fun of these farming simulators, but people are making these games. There's going to
These-
be a Mad Max mod, I'm sure.
Yeah. These tomatoes look a lot like cacodemons.
So I mean, Doom, Deus Ex, Overcooked.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good year. Why'd you say it wasn't a good year?
Okay, so in terms of video games, because I want to get to two board games that I really like this year, for the people that are moderately interested in hearing about that too. But why I did not like this year was I and you guys don't get things for free. We're not the kind of people that are doing this. We have to spend our own money on these things. We are the consumers of the product. We are not necessarily reviewers of product, right? So no one here is getting anything for free. No one's getting a free ride here.
Which
So
makes us,
I have-
I think, more critical, too. Right?
Sure, I have to buy all my stuff.
Yeah.
And this year, I got burned on a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I've spoken about it in the last... not a whole bunch. I'm not an idiot. But I got burned on No Man's Sky, and I probably should have seen that coming. That's a, like,
Yeah.
they saw you coming the minute you walked in the store. No Man's Sky is nonsense. I'm never going to pre-order a game again. Like, that's it. I'm done. I do not care enough about these games. And I've kind of learned over the year that most of these games that are coming out now are either 80% finished or even less. Most of these huge, big budget titles, a lot of them have stuff behind, not necessarily paywalls, but like with something like Star Wars Battlefront, the game
right.
finally was finished like in the last few months. Like in the last month or two, they finally finished the game, adding in all the maps they're going to add in. That was an $80 game when I bought it.
Yeah.
The other day, I loaded it up and I was like, okay, let me do some Star Wars Battlefront. I haven't seen it in a little while. Let me load up the new maps. And I was like, I'll download the maps. I'll pay for the maps. And then I saw the price for the maps. I was like, give me a break.
Really?
This is
They
nonsense.
were not. It wasn't
I thought it was free.
free DLC.
Some of them are free, but the stuff I wanted to play was all behind the Seasons Pass. I don't do the Seasons Pass, so this is all like a new thing. So I looked at the Seasons Pass stuff and I was like, what is this? What is the Seasons Pass? Why do I have to pay you more money for the game that I already bought?
Yeah, totally. And they always do that with the Seasons Pass, and then like a year later they show up with the definitive edition, which has all the content from the Seasons Pass in it. But with an online multiplayer shooter, like the time has passed. People have already finished playing that game online and are looking for the new game. So who cares if it has all the DLC in it anymore? If my friends aren't playing it with me, then I don't want to play this game.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm done buying games that aren't finished. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of it. I am... there's going to be no more... This is the New Year's resolution. The New Year's resolution is no more pre-ordering games. I've only ever ordered one, and that was the end of it. I only ever pre-ordered one game. It was No Man's Sky. I'm never doing that again. But I'm also going to be a bit more critical about the finished status of the game before I pick it up.
Miles and I will pre-order games, but it's quite often when, like, after E3 or something. And so there's usually like 20-30% off. And I feel like that's kind of okay, because then on day one you're getting an $80 game for like $60 instead of waiting for it to come out and then drop to $60. You know,
Sure.
So I'll do that, but we very
I also
rarely
think that
play.
it's okay to kickstart certain games. Like, just say Ghost Town, the makers of Overcooked. They're like, we're working on a brand new game, and it's about running a toy store, and it's going to be local multiplayer online. Would tell me you wouldn't pay $10
I'm gonna start
and
looking
pre-order
them up.
that.
I'm gonna keep my eye on them. I'm gonna
I don't know, guys. I got burned so bad, I may not be interested in it anymore.
Really? Even for $10?
That game's going to come out. They've made enough money.
I
That game's going to
kickstarted.
come out. They don't need me.
I kickstarted Ukulele, the Banjo-Kazooie, the spiritual
that's a thing to
successor to that.
kickstart.
And like
Yeah.
now, but that was over a year ago, right? So like the payoff is you got to be pretty patient. They just announced April 2017.
But there were also the people who kickstarted those Double Fine adventures, and when they came out, people were like, yeah, those are okay.
Yeah. Like Ukulele, you feel like they've made, like, have you seen the gameplay and stuff from it?
Yeah,
It's
no,
gorgeous.
it looks nice.
It could
looks so
still,
good.
but you never know. You never
You're gonna
know.
get burned.
No,
You're gonna get burned.
it's
get
gonna be
burned.
awesome. We're gonna love it. You're gonna feel stupid.
No Man's
We're
Sky
gonna...
looked amazing. It looked like it was gonna
Okay,
be the last
we'll talk
game.
about this in April.
Yeah,
As long as it doesn't get pushed past April.
which it will. Tell me
Yeah.
about these board games.
Okay, so past my negativity are the two board games I played this year that I think, if you're interested in board games at all, these are my favorite of the year. These are the best things I think that came out in 2016. The first one's called Star Wars Rebellion. It is the 3 first Star Wars movies, not the prequels. It's the 3 first Star Wars movies in a box. It starts you out. One player is playing as the Imperials, one player is playing as the Rebellion, and the Imperial just has tons of stuff. They've got a giant army. You have a little, what's it called? The little Death Star is hanging out, and the Rebels have a secret base. And the Imperial players try to find the secret base,
my
and the
gosh.
secret base can be moved.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And like you have your little characters, you get an initial Luke, and then Luke becomes, if you find Yoda, you can make him into.
Oh my god! It's like really
Jedi
playing through
Luke.
the game, through the movie.
Yeah, there are ways to blow up the Death Star that are like awesome. The Imperial player is trying to find the Rebel base before the time period is up. There's like a time clock. Not necessarily like a clock, but there's like a round number that the Imperial player has to find the Rebel base by. So it's like a cat and mouse game. The base can be moved, so like when they move from Hoth outwards, you can move away. But yeah, it is
Is it?
I think...
It sounds like
Sorry?
a 2-player Scotland Yard with a level up system.
No, but is
yeah.
it similar to that Lord of the Rings game that was 2-player?
It
Like-
is. I think that Lord of the Rings game, I've only ever played it once because no one will play it with me. Because it's such a beast. It's a beast to learn. Rebellion is less of a beast to learn, but still a bit of a beast to learn. Not like the most complicated game I have, and nowhere near the even moderate I think it's an easy game to learn, but if you're not necessarily super into board games, this might be something on the harder end.
You probably also need to be kind of super into Star Wars.
Yeah, it can be a long game. It can be like a 3-4 hour game.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But you get an evening of really tense. Where are you? What are you doing? The Imperial player gets to draw. This is one of the more interesting things. The Imperial player gets to draw from this probe deck, and the deck just shows you planets that they're not on. And so there becomes this whole bluffing thing where the Imperial player knows where they're not, and the Rebel player doesn't know what the Imperial player knows.
Right.
So there becomes
Sorry, I just wanted to say that's not what I thought would happen on the probe deck. But.
Stop. Okay.
Come here, boy.
Don't pause to let Miles speak anymore, okay?
Letting Miles speak is basically like pre-ordering No Man's Sky.
And then the second game, what I think is probably the better game than Rebellion overall, but it's a completely different game, is called Captain Sonar. Best played with 8 people, but can be played with 6, can be played with 4, but you probably, if you have a group of people that you can get together that are between 6 and 8 people, this is the game to play with them. It's you're playing a big game of Battleship where you have 2 teams on 2 ships, and there's a grid and the ships move. So the captain will announce every turn where the ship is going, like head north, head east, head north.
Okay.
The captain says that out loud, and then there's a guy on the other team who's the radio operator who is listening to what the other team is doing and is writing down where the other team could be on a piece of clear acetate, and they have their own grid, and they're like looking over the grid to be like, oh, where could they be? I think they're here. Then on the other side of the captain are 2 guys. One is working the engineering. They're breaking things on the ship, and they're like, we can't go east anymore. And then another guy is charging weapons, and he's like, we can shoot. And then when it all comes together, you have like a guy being like, if you go west, I can repair everything. One guy being like, we can shoot. The radio operator goes, I know where they are. And then the captain goes like, stop, fire. And then like you shoot a torpedo at the other team, and maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't, because you have to like announce on the grid where you're shooting.
Are you in the same room with each other?
You're in the same room. Okay. You're separated by a big screen.
Oh, okay.
The biggest component in the game is there are these 2 giant screens. The most interesting part is the part I've left out, as this is all happening in real time. So there are no turns. When you hear from your engineer that you're good to move, you can move. And if you can get a team that's going really quickly, you could move 5 spaces before the other team's even moved 1.
And then is it hectic because lots of people are talking at the same time?
Yeah, so some people are trying to keep it down. Like some people are trying to be like, okay, I've got weapons are charging.
The weapons person and the
engineer, they're trying to keep it down. The captain's also trying to talk with them without telling them what's going on, like, because you're only separated by a screen and you're across the table from them, so they can kind of hear what's happening. Yeah. But you have to keep it down. You have to announce out loud enough so that the radio operator can hear where you're going.
I love, though, that if you have a radio operator who's really good at hearing, that's like an actual really good radio operator.
Yeah, that they can,
right? Like, that's what they do. They're really good at hearing all these messages or finding it.
It almost, in a weird way, it sounds like a board game version of Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Yeah,
that indie game where it's like everyone has their own station and you're communicating with each other.
Yeah. We have a group that gets together maybe once every 2 months. If you have a group that gets together, that's 6 to 8 people, and that's hard to get together. But if you have it, then this is the game.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Pick up. I think it's a little harder to pick up right now because every time it comes out, it sells out. But by next year, they'll have copies of it. So take a look if you're interested in that, because that's, I think, worth the money if you have the amount of people to play it with.
Cool.
That's awesome, man. That sounds really cool. No,
cool story, bro.
And another like kind of co-op game, but a video game, Catherine, that you've been playing this last year.
I guess like when I think about like my ultimate gaming moment or my best gaming moment of 2016, it ends up being Overwatch. I mean, we talk about it a lot, but it is just a game that I love to watch, I love to play. I'm terrible at, but I don't really care that I'm terrible at it because it's just a lot of fun. I don't play FPSs. I don't, certainly not multiplayer online ones. And I was actually very intimidated about it too. Like I was like, I don't know if I could play this game. Like it looks amazing, but I have to play with like strangers, and I have to play against strangers who are all going to be so much better. And then in the end, you don't really care because you're like, it's so much fun. I don't care if everyone hates me. I love playing the game. Like I'll play D.Va. I play D.Va a lot, and she's just super fun to play. I started playing Junkrat because I play all the easier ones to play, and it actually pushes you to get out of your comfort zone. Like I was pretty happy just playing D.Va, but then sometimes it's like D.Va's not the right person to pick in this game, and I want to at least be able to play more types of players. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn one person in every group to at least be comfortable enough. If I need to fill a gap, I'll fill it, right? And this is something that you don't always do when you play, because you don't always, like now you play Mercy, but for the longest time I'll watch you play like, there's no healer on your team, how do you expect to win? I'm like, just pick a healer. And so I play Lucio because he's the easiest one to heal with. He may not be the most effective healer, but at the very least, like, I'll give my team a shot. I'm like, look, no one wants to pick a healer, I'll do it. And I'm not going to be good at it, but I'll help us get a little further, maybe. That kind of thing.
So it's like a team-based shooter. Everybody knows what Overwatch is, but
yeah. Oh, sorry. I'll let you explain.
It's a team-based shooter,
Team
and
Fortress,
like Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
And it's available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's made by Blizzard, which is a company that's been making video games for a little while now.
Yeah, and Blizzard
got their
knows how
foot
to
in
get
the door.
They know how to get me hooked, and they're doing it right now because we're recording this at the end of December, and it's the holiday stuff right now. They did a Halloween one too, and they just know how to keep you hooked. They know how to keep you playing. They give you rewards. You get these loot boxes, and of course,
it's like a slot machine sometimes.
Blizzard. You just
Scratch
gotta
tickets.
keep playing. It's like, Hearthstone, right? Like you play to get the boosters, right?
Hearthstone. I was deep into World of Warcraft.
Yep. Blizzard.
I started playing Diablo 3 again recently, and I was like, I need to stop playing this game because I am on a treadmill, and I probably should just go and get on a treadmill.
And I didn't play any Diablo.
Have they ever made a game that has an ending? Like
Diablo 3 ends, doesn't it?
Yeah, it ends, and then you start it over again.
Yeah, and then you immediately start it again. Yeah, and then I've played Diablo 3 is the only one I played, and I also really, really liked it.
Oh, it's so good.
I bought Reaper of the Souls right when it came out, but I haven't played it.
I don't understand the people that are playing it years later with their, like, seeing the same thing over and over again. I don't get that. God bless them. It's a good, like, that's the game to do it with. Blizzard games are the games to do this with because they're well made.
They always update it. Like they always.
Well, there's a lot of people playing it too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I just like the effort they put into, like, because I know some people don't play Overwatch because they're like, oh, I'm not into like the cartoony games and stuff, right? They want like realism. They want to play like Call of Duty or something like that. But
do you actually know those people?
No, I've just heard like on podcasts and things like that, like where I don't know them. Like everyone plays and loves Overwatch, right? I watch a lot of live streamers, right? So I watch, and they all play like Battlefield, Call of Duty stuff. Right? So they're all like hardcore PC gamers.
Oh yeah, the realism of Battlefield 1, where like the automatic weapons in World War 1.
Give you all that realism.
Realism in games.
So that's why Overwatch, it's just because it made me love a game that I wouldn't normally, like, if you told me what Overwatch was just from, like, describe what type of game it was, I'm like, there's no way I would play it. There's no way. Because this is not the type of game I play.
And there's something to be said about the community that Blizzard creates. Because, we talked a little bit about lifestyle games last month. And Blizzard creates lifestyle video games. Where it's like, you'll play this game now forever. This will be the video game that you play. You used to love video games, now you love World of Warcraft.
This game. Yeah.
Now you just play this one. And we'll keep creating different content, different ways for you to love the characters. We'll do books and books of lore. With Overwatch, they make these little Pixar shorts, like things that can be compared to Pixar shorts.
Like the Bastion short should be nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that came out this year. Chris, if you haven't seen it yet, there is a short
I'll
film
go take a look.
It is Pixar level
Last
quality.
Bastion.
It's called
Yeah.
The Last Bastion. It's about a silent character in Overwatch.
Is that
And
the
it's
robot character?
Yeah.
Bastion? Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
I know that in the competitive form of Overwatch, it has the same toxicity problem as
Yes.
any
Yeah.
multiplayer online
Sure.
competitive game.
You're not going to get
I
away
just
from
wanted
that.
to say it's not a perfect game. You are
Yeah.
still going to get those Hearthstone friend
Right.
request yelling, but which is kind of what's nice about the console version is that you don't really chat to your players. Like
If
we
you don't have, if
we
you don't want to.
yeah, we don't use team chat when we're playing, and we don't play competitive that often.
It'd be fine if, like, you could talk to these people, because I'm sure they're nice people, and it'd be nice to be able to play games with people, but again, my problem.
Well,
Right.
currently,
I hate playing with people.
when I'm playing Overwatch, I'm playing with Fraser from PBG, Chris
yeah,
Nintendo Hodge, and now Frank, our friend Frank from a long time ago.
Tall Frank.
And we're playing a team game, and all of us have our group chat.
Yeah, we're just
Oh, yeah,
waiting
sure.
for Chris Gerardo
Yeah,
here.
me to
Come
start
on,
to
man!
Overwatch.
There's 4 of us playing right now.
Oh, then I can play
regularly.
Overwatch and nothing else.
Yeah, that is the problem. With
One thing I just wanted to bring up that was kind of an interesting side note that I heard recently about the casual community for Overwatch was that they kickstarted a fund to send Christmas cookies to the Blizzard Overwatch team.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So it was like $650. They just wanted to say thank you for listening to the community and
Yeah.
providing us with balance for all of the
They are
characters.
extremely responsive to.
And in an hour it made 800, so they had more than enough for cookies for the
Yeah.
Blizzard Overwatch team.
And that's interesting, because Blizzard in the past has not necessarily been the most receptive company to feedback, like the whole nostalgious people wanting original servers from World of Warcraft, and Blizzard
Yeah.
being like, what? No one wants that. And you look at the nostalgious numbers, and they probably were overblown, but people did want that. And now they're kind of moving back towards, maybe people do want that. But for the longest time, people wanted vanilla World of Warcraft, and Blizzard
Yeah.
was like, no one wants vanilla World of Warcraft.
They also do some other things. Well, I think that's mainly because they have a World of Warcraft that they want to sell.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
No,
They're like,
100%,
we
yeah.
put so much work into this,
Yeah.
we want you to enjoy it this way.
Yeah.
But like with Diablo 2, I heard recently this year that they just made it playable in current modern gaming platforms. Like,
Oh, yeah, right on.
so like they updated the servers or whatever
Right.
for Diablo 2 so that you could play it on your current PC. So they do some things
Blizzard
like
listens. Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
and I really respect them for those moments. And I want to see pictures of them enjoying the cookies. I think
Yeah,
that's-
that'll be awesome. All right, Miles, what are you going to talk about?
Oh man, this year video games for me has been so much about so many different things. Amassing video games was like
Yeah, you did a really good job of getting a lot of video games.
So
this
I mean,
year.
this year started with me going through old toys that I had as a kid, and I was selling them on eBay and getting rid of stuff. And we had Flock of Nerds going, so I started picking up a lot of video games at swaps and garage sales and Buns, which was the biggest thing. I
Yeah,
think.
the Buns trading community in Toronto. Buns was a real like jackpot for you because it was straight trading back then. Like, just here's something I don't want.
Yeah.
Do you have something that I want? Let's just trade. Value had
Now,
nothing to do with
I
it.
don't want to make it.
You're
sound-
trying to tiptoe around what Miles actually did. I think. I think that Miles ripped off a few people. it
No,
sounds
I
like.
didn't. No, I didn't.
Here's the thing. Miles is very very.
He's
honest.
a very nice person. So.
and he's pretty honest. And
Yeah.
No, okay, this is what happened. I had tried selling a bunch of stuff on eBay, and then there were still things that I had value, but
Right.
I was having a hard time finding the right person to be interested in this thing. Like, for
maybe,
example,
like artwork or
yeah, exactly, like
Yeah.
artwork. Or I had this watch from Transmetropolitan, and so I was able to trade that for an equivalent value in video games. So a lot of the things I was able to get rid of, I was able to get video games for, and video games I found were a lot more liquid.
we ran into a little bit of a space issue here where we live in a very small apartment, and it was
Oh,
half of it.
It's spacious.
No, it's
Come
very,
on!
No, you haven't been here in a while. I think you forget how small
now,
it is.
now it's just piles of video games and old newspapers.
It
and-
has been, but now the other part of Miles's whole thing is
The Purge.
The Purge.
This year we went from going to swaps and buying games and trying to get deals to becoming vendors.
Yeah, you were a vendor at the Barrie Game Exchange. I don't know if you plan on being one at the next one, if you just want to be a guest at the next one.
I don't know. I
We
think
haven't decided.
Yeah, we
Oh,
haven't decided
big
yet.
announcement. Big announcement on the podcast.
That's in April?
Yeah, it's in April.
So
I don't
we'll
know.
announce closer to the day.
But we're not sure if we're going to be vendors again or not. It depends how well Kijiji does for us.
How
But,
well Kijiji,
I mean, the market is its own thing, and it was really interesting to see the prices of video games and retro video games because it is pretty liquid. It's pretty easy to get rid of video games, and the prices are stable. And I came from a different hobby where the market was so volatile, which was
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering, some cards will be worth like 10 cents one week, and next week it's $10, the week after it's $2. Like, video games don't do that. They don't change week
Right.
by week like Magic cards do. So it was like everything that I was buying was safe, and it was kind of I was relieved when I was
Yeah.
getting into that market. I was like,
Yeah.
this is easy. You have confidence in the stuff that you have. I don't know going forward if that's still going to be the case, because Nintendo released something called the NES Classic console, which showcases that playing your retro games on modern consoles without actually having the cart, it can be even more fun than owning the cart. So I think
Yeah.
that they may have opened a door.
You kind of very early on, you knew that you were not a collector, right?
Yeah.
So it was not important to you to have like the most mint version of, this label on this cart or whatever,
Right.
or a complete set of anything. After a while, we're like, well, you know what? Our place is small, Chris, and you have to sort of decide what you
gotta
want to
make
fill
decisions.
it with.
Listen, life is decisions, guys. Life is a never-ending stream of decisions until the day
And
you
for
die.
sure, we're not saying like purge everything.
It's like The Walking Dead, the Telltale game.
Oh, you brought it full circle.
Brought it full circle. I also want to say that I think the best part of gaming for me in 2016 was a lot of the friends I've made in the community that were in with Flock of Nerds, Cartridge Club, meeting the Cartridge Club people, and
Yeah, they've been really amazing.
meeting the locals, as well as talking online with some of the other people and the podcasters and everything. So I also want to say big thank you to the Cartridge Brothers, the Cartridge Bros, P1 and P2 for reviewing our first episode.
Yeah, that was
had
really nice.
very kind things to say about
Yeah.
us, and it motivated us to like get up and record this episode and try to hopefully
we
keep
weren't
it.
gonna do it.
We're like, you know what? Let's end on top. No,
We're like, well, we mastered that world. What's next for us?
it's just nice to know that the three of us, like, well, this is just us talking, right? This is what we like to do anyway, so
Yeah.
it's just nice that people like to hear it. So
So those were our gaming moments from 2016. Let us know what your gaming moments from 2016 are. You can contact us on Twitter at Flock of Nerds with the hashtag Flock Talk, and just let us know what your favorite gaming moment is. We're going to choose a random one, and they're going to win a prize next month.
Whoa, prizes.
Yeah, it's going to be like a mid-range video game for a system. That
Fine
they
by
own.
miles, because this is the first time Chris or I have heard of this. So
It's gonna be a somewhat cheap game that we're gonna throw in the mail, and maybe it'll get to you.
The first one, Chris said you're gonna buy an Earthbound, right? And you're gonna give Earthbound to somebody.
I've got a copy of No Man's Sky coming in the mail.
As Donkey said, more like no guy bye. So that's it for Flock Talk episode 2. For Catherine and Chris, I'm Miles. Thank you all so much for listening, and have a great 2017, everybody.